I'm Joel Midgal, and I'm a professor of international studies at the Jackson School. Well, if I had the ear of President Obama, I think that I would emphasize how fundamentally the Middle East has changed from the 20th century to the 21st century. In the 20th century, there were a number of forces that were extraordinarily powerful in the Middle East. The most prominent was Arab nationalism, the idea that the Arabs should be unified, and a lot of the conflict in the Middle East revolved around or was associated with that, with Arab nationalism. While I don't want to say Arab nationalism is dead today, it certainly is on life support, and it's not a major factor in the Middle East at this time at all. And what has replaced it? Religion, we know. Islamic militancy and politics have become very, very important in the Middle East. Concomitant with the fall of Arab nationalism has been the decay of the governments, regimes that supported Arab nationalism. These were the most important governments in the Middle East. Egypt was the most prominent of all, and it has been weakened substantially. Iraq was a huge player, and of course has been leveled by what happened since 2003. And so not only has Islam grown, but the decay of states has opened the playing field for what we call non-state actors. And those non-state actors include Al-Qaeda, Hamas, Hezbollah, lots of groups that everyone has heard of. Now, how does all this fit together? The emergence of Iran is the linchpin to the change that has occurred, because Iran, first of all, initiated the Islamic revival in the Middle East with the revolution that is just now, just had its 30th anniversary. And as non-state actors have filled the void where the old powers have used to tread, Iran has allied with them and created an arc that goes all the way from the Mediterranean Sea, where we have Hamas on the Mediterranean Sea, we have Hezbollah on the Mediterranean Sea, through Syria, into Iraq, Shia Iraq, and through to Iran, all the way to the Persian Gulf. And that power block has realigned everything in the Middle East. So what does all this mean for you, President Obama, for the United States? First of all, it means that there is a power balance and struggle going on in the Middle East. On the one hand, there's the bloc that I just mentioned, led by Iran. On the other side is a kind of hodgepodge group, a potpourri of powers. Monarchical, the old monarchical regimes like Saudi Arabia and Jordan, the old Arab nationalist regimes like Egypt, Israel, and this potpourri group doesn't necessarily get along all that well. So one serious question for the United States is, what can it do to establish a healthier balance in the Middle East, strengthening the ties among its allies? For one, there is a potential alliance between Saudi Arabia and Israel, between Israel and Egypt, between Egypt and Saudi Arabia, but that's inchoate now. It's not really developed. And so the United States really has to look for the kinds of issues that can eliminate the frictions among those countries. Key among them, as we all know, is the Israel-Palestinian issue. To the degree that that could be resolved, it takes away many of the frictions of the group that would most closely associate with the United States. And so it's no surprise that Obama is going to be faced right off with this problem of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. But he has one problem here, and that problem is an old problem. Any first-term president who has tried to tackle the Palestinian-Israeli conflict has been burned badly by it. Jimmy Carter did, or Arab-Israeli conflict generally. Jimmy Carter did in his presidency, and by the way, he was not reelected on his second try. George Bush Sr. did, created the Madrid Peace Conference, and by the way, he was not reelected in his second try for the presidency. Coincidence? Maybe. I think presidents are wary of this. And so Obama is caught in a vice now between the need to shore up his coalition in the Middle East so that he can confront Iran not militarily, but through a kind of strong diplomatic presence and a strong political and social presence in the Middle East. He's caught between that need and a political wariness about how complicated that Palestinian-Israeli conflict is. I think what the Obama administration can do is begin to work towards a solution that is a solution on paper. To get the two sides to agree to what would happen if conditions were right. In other words, a set of principles, and then aim to create the conditions on the ground which would allow those principles to occur.